as I darted around, circling past, trying to get around them while I thought about how to pull a win out of this situation. The heavy metal star still chasing away at them as it swept around, heading back towards Sylvia. She got a furious expression on her face. I have had enough of this. Asgar, maximize, she shouted out. And just like that, the purple blade extending from the dagger she was wielding grew, turning massive as she slashed upward at the heavy metal star heading in her direction. As it impacted, sparks flew from the spinning star, grinding against that purple energy blade she was wielding. Now, about 4 or 5 times the length of her body. With one big push, she forced the heavy metal star, sending it flying back up into the air, before whirling around, and with a sweep of the blade, suddenly it extended even more, stretching out damn near 50 feet, all the way out to where I was circling. I dropped to my knees, doing what amounted to a power slide, as the purple blade just passed over me. I could feel the wind swoosh as it swept by. I brought the heavy metal star back in my direction, bringing it to my side and whirling it beside me. Okay, I definitely need to be prepared if she tries to swing that again. I have had enough of this nonsense, Sylvia said, furiously. Still. Oh, it looks like you're pretty upset, sis, Rebecca replied. Of course I'm upset. I'm fighting a metallic buffoon, and for whatever reason, I can't seem to beat him. It's infuriating. No matter what we hit him with, he seems to live right through it. And then that god-awful catchphrase. Heavy metal this, heavy metal that. Why do you keep saying it? I get the feeling that you don't actually need to. That you're just doing it you want to. Maybe even just because it bothers me. Why on earth do you keep shouting it? I couldn't help but chuckle a bit as she ranted at me, furious about me saying heavy metal before using my abilities, and right in the middle of a life or death fight, no less. I couldn't help but find it funny. Well, if you want to know why I say it, well, it just sounds cool. That's really all there is to it. It sounds cool? That's it? It sounds annoying is what it sounds like. Nah, actually, sis, Rebecca added in, interrupting her for a moment. It does sound pretty awesome. Honestly, I wish our spells were a little bit more catchy. Rebecca, don't compare our magic casting to that nonsense. What we do is a complex and difficult task, created through countless generations of study, research and development, understanding of the nature of magic. He just shouts out a nonsense catchphrase. Yeah, sis, but our spells aren't exactly catchy. I mean, to anyone who hears it and doesn't really understand magic, it really just sounds like we're saying some gibberish. Something that doesn't really amount to anything. And it always has to be different. We can't throw catchy phrases and monikers into their spells, because it just mess it up. Rebecca, stop agreeing with the enemy. And we have catchy things too, Sylvia said, as if she was trying to salvage the coolness of magic. I mean, we use maximize to empower spells. That repeats, at least when we're using powerful spells. That's kind of catchy, right? Yeah, sis, I guess so. But once again, people really don't know what it means. It's not like any average person is going to understand that maxi and maximize are amplification incantations that add magnifying effects to whatever spell we add them to. I mean, people just don't understand that, or the cost of doing it. Sure, we make the spell stronger, but we also amplify the cost, meaning it costs way more magic to do. And still, I don't think it's as catchy as that heavy metal thing. That heavy metal thing is just nonsense, Rebecca, Sylvia replied. It doesn't mean anything at all. It's just some gibberish he shouts, and it doesn't even have any real effect. Or at least I don't think it does. Based on the things that he performs as actions and attacks, it doesn't seem to have any effect at all. Yeah, sis, but you gotta admit, it's good marketing. I mean, no one's gonna doubt that he has his own brand, and people are gonna remember the name heavy metal. For God's sakes, Rebecca, please, just stop. Oh, thanks for the compliments, I shouted across to Rebecca. I really wish we didn't have to keep doing this little fight. It would be much easier if you guys just let me out of here. But I can understand why that idea wouldn't appeal to you. To be honest, I had really thought about that whole magic kind of sounding like gibberish thing. To be honest, it almost sounds like something that you could make up off the top of your head and just shout out. I suppose if more people knew about it, it might have more impact if they understood it a bit more. That's enough out of you, Sylvia shouted furiously in my direction. I have had enough of your heavy metal nonsense, your constant bombardment of both that annoying catchphrase and whatever metal object you can think of throwing next. This fight is about to end. I'm done. No more games. My temperament for these shenanigans has reached its end, and so too will this fight reach its conclusion. And I do most hope it hurts. Emerge, Vexocall, Sylvia shouted, a massive flare of that purple energy emanating from her body as she raised her hand, and with a beckoning motion, there was a swirl of purple energy in the air, and from it, an enormous creature leaped out of the thin air, like it was emerging from a portal, or something like that. About 20 foot tall, covered in thick white fur, razor-sharp teeth and claws, and a purplish hue of eye that just glared me down as if I was next on the menu. It was a wolf, a freaking 20-foot tall wolf. What the hell is that? I shouted, seeing the creature dwarfing over her, growling in my direction. Don't worry about it. After all, you've got that heavy metal catchphrase. If you like playing games so much, let's play a new one. Hello, my big furry friend. Let's play a game. Let's play fetch, she said, as this massive white wolf dashed forward. The force he put on the ground was so great that he tore chunks out of it as he bolted in my direction. I thought fast, moving the heavy metal star in front of me, spreading it out, creating a barrier, with still that small view hole in the center. And just as I expected it to impact, the entire goddamn thing just disappeared. Just disapparating, turning into a cloud of steam and fog sweeping past. I could still feel the wind from its movement, but it wasn't there anymore. What the ever-loving fuck was that? And just like that, I felt a massive impact on both my front and my back as my body suddenly began being forced to the right, rapidly moving. I couldn't move my left arm at all. The pressure was insane. It was like I was being squeezed in a vice. And yeah, it hurt. I was still moving rapidly, flying through the air, seemingly propelled by nothing at all, but I could see that steam, that fog, billowing around me. And as I looked down, trying to figure out what the hell was grabbing me, I found myself inside of its jaw, but not the whole thing. It was like only part of its mouth had taken form. The rest of it just seemed to be a cloud of fog, forcing me down before dissipating, sending me flying back to the ground. What in the hell was that?